All right, guys, I'm going to try to get through this today without my iPad messing up. So try to pay attention, okay? So yesterday we talked about what a wind vane was. All right, wind vanes tell you direction of the wind. Really important if you're like a farmer or if you're really worried about the weather. Wind vanes aren't really used that much anymore. You know, if you got a barn or something, you can throw this little rooster up there on top. Adds a little bit of nostalgia. But wind vanes are kind of a thing of the past, okay? Now this next one, this anemometer, this has got a wind vane, which is this little fin on the back, and a wind speed detector. All right, so this is a tough one to remember. It measures the speed or the velocity of the wind, and it also can tell you which way the wind's blowing, because this one's kind of fancy. This propeller goes around, and however many times it goes around per second, they can give you a good wind speed. So when hurricanes come through, most of the time these anemometers get ripped off the roofs of places, with a last wind speed that they got from the hurricane. I remember when Isaias came through, the one in Southport got ripped off. I think the wind speed was like 106 miles an hour. So they can get ripped off real easy, especially on, weather stations in your backyard. So this next one is going to be the barometer. This is a tough one to remember, okay? The barometer is a measurement of how much water vapor is in the air, okay? So when it's really, really hot outside, and even sometimes when it's cold here, we have very humid days. Our air is really, really, really wet. We have a lot of water vapor in the air. If you were to go up on the top of a mountain, Mount Everest, somewhere in the Himalayas, even somewhere in the Rockies around here, you have really, really dry air, okay? Not a lot of moisture falls in these really, really dry areas. You don't necessarily need a barometer in those places. Obviously, you don't want, you could use one, obviously. But this is gonna detect your pressure. Barometers detect if you're gonna have a low pressure or a high pressure. Remember, high pressure is a happy day. You're gonna be way up here in the 1,050, 1,040. If you have a hurricane in your area, you're going to get down there below 950 as a pressure. So barometer is a tough one to remember, but make sure you remember it because that's a big one. There's another picture of a barometer. This is a really old-timey barometer. Like I told you, now they're all digital. This right here is a thermometer. This one is going to be one that you can put in your mouth to get your temperature. This one you put outside to get the temperature outside, and this is an oven thermometer. All three of these measure temperature, okay? And when they're measuring temperature, they just give you the temperature of whatever it is you're trying to measure. So if you want to do the inside of your bathroom, you could take this sucker right here and measure how cold it is or how hot it is in your bathroom. But all three of them measure temperature. Temperature is temperature, okay? You could take this oven one right out here that you use to see if a turkey's cooked, and you could lay it outside and it could tell you the temperature outside as well. So temperature is temperature. Thermometer is an easy one. Now this is a tough one. This is a hygrometer. Now that first 5 letters, hygro, means water. So this means it's a water meter. And this detects how much water vapor is in the air. I think I got confused a little bit with barometer. I told you it was water vapor. But hygrometers measure water vapor in there. So since we have a really, really wet environment around where we live, we have a lot of water vapor in the air. Hygrometers come in really handy. We had really high humidity all summer. That's why it felt so hot when you went outside, is because there was a lot of water vapor in the air. Lots of evaporation was happening. So we had this really, really hot summer because of this increased humidity. And hygrometers measure humidity. In the winter, typically we don't have as much water in the air. Typically winter's a little bit drier than summer and early fall. But still, hygrometers measure water vapor